I was watching a video of a friend of mine. He lives in South Okanagan, a riding buddy, and he also motovlogs. I'll put a link to his channel here, and if not there, it'll be in the description. Anyway, his channel is called Occasionally Evil. He just did a vlog on the Summer of Love, being that this is the 50th anniversary of the Summer of Love. Summer of Love being in 1967. And his take on it was that how come you don't hear anything about it? And yeah, I see that. I mean, you don't hear anything about that really. You know, you hear the odd reference to the 60s and those days, usually from people that, if they're old enough to have experienced those times, they didn't really experience them. As in Jimi Hendrix's song, Are You Experienced? So a lot of people talk about those days, but they never really lived them, even though they were alive in them. You know what I mean? So I find that kind of interesting, and in a way, it kind of points to the answer to his question of why there's no mention of it. I think that's because a lot of people in those days weren't really into it. They were just kind of bystanders, seeing it happen. They appreciated the music, but they weren't into the motivations for the music and the protests and such. So they didn't really want change, but hey, they enjoyed the beat, you know, the vibe, I guess. Whereas others, the minority, were actually into it. I happen to be one of those, and so I can connect the dots as I look back, and I think those people, they can't, and that's why they don't think of it now. I'm 67 now, so I was 17 in 1967. So I mean, I was like right at that age, you know, to see it and be in it, be, you know, really get involved, be appreciating, or I should say appreciating all that was happening. And I mean, I loved the music. I lived right across the river from Detroit, Michigan, and so, you know, our city was a medium-sized city, but, you know, living across the river 2 miles away from downtown Detroit, lots of stuff happening there on all levels, lots of violence. It was the murder capital of the United States at the time. We had the Detroit riots. I watched them happen up close, personal, and then there was the cultural shift from the 60s with the music and such. So it was all happening all at once, and you know, when I hear people talk these days about the 60s, all they seem to talk about is flower power and, you know, that sort of thing, but really that wasn't what it was about. I mean, there was that, but that wasn't the thrust of it. That wasn't the bulk of it. I mean, it was a mixed bag, you know. It was a lot of hard-edged stuff going down, and I mean, it could be downright dangerous. Certainly it wasn't all just love and flowers in the hair. You know, it was a big drug culture at the time. I think different than the drug culture now. Maybe I can't judge because I don't do drugs now. I did then. And, you know, nothing insane. I didn't do heroin or anything like that, but I certainly did a lot. And it was mainly, you know, grass, hash, and my favorite, all-time favorite, was LSD. And I did a fair bit of that. Lots of memories, lots of experiences, that's for sure. But, you know, it was a time of change, and you could feel it. We could feel it strong. And it was a time of bonding with your friends around music and, topics. We'd get together at night and really listen to music, and not just have it on as background or whatever, but listen, and we would talk. We'd talk about stuff, So it was a formative time, very powerful time. People don't think about it too much now, but you know what? Everyone these days lives in a world that has been enriched and improved by the 60s, by all that went down that no one, it seems, these days can really accurately account for and appreciate. But they appreciate the world they live in for the changes that happened because of those times. At least I hope they do. So anyway, yeah, that got me thinking about that, and I thought, hey, while I'm riding along, I just thought maybe I'll share that with you guys and girls. What do you think? Were you around in the 60s? And if you weren't, what's your impression of what the 60s were, Was it all flower power or what? What do you think? Anyway, you take care. Have a fantastic day. And I'll catch you on another ride, I hope. Thanks for joining me.